Good morning. Welcome to the November 9th, 2022 meeting of the Rochester Board of Review. This hearing is being conducted in the Greasetown Hall Community Rooms A and B located at 1 Vince Toffany Boulevard in the town of Greece, city of Rochester, New York, 14612, and is also being heard via video conference via WebEx with a participation being conducted at the New York State Department of State Conference Room 1135 located at 1 Commerce Plaza, 99 Washington Avenue in Albany, New York, 12210. The time is now 9:16 and this hearing is officially open. This hearing is being amended to include resolution number 1 of 2022, and we will now begin the public hearing portion. This is a public hearing conducted by the New York State Department of State Rochester Regional Board of Review pursuant to Section 103-A of the Public Officers Law for the purpose of receiving public comment on the proposed adoption by the Board of Review of a resolution authorizing the use of video conferencing and establishing written procedures governing member and public attendance for meetings of the Board of Review and meetings of any and all committees or subcommittees of the Board of Review now existing or hereafter established. As the chair of the board, I will serve as the presiding officer for today's hearing. Section 103-A of the Public Officers Law authorizes a public body to allow its members to participate in a meeting remotely under extraordinary circumstances at locations that do not allow for in-person physical attendance by the public, provided that such public body adopts a resolution authorizing such remote attendance and establishes written procedures governing member and public attendance consistent with Section 103-A of the Public Officers Law. If adopted, the proposed resolution would authorize the Board of Review and any and all committees or subcommittees of the Board of Review now existing or hereafter established to use video conferencing to conduct meetings in the manner contemplated by Section 103-A of the Public Officers Law. For example, meetings where a member who is unable to be physically present at any such meeting location due to extraordinary circumstances is permitted to attend and participate in the meeting by video conferencing from a remote location that is not open to the public, and establish written procedures governing member and public participation for such meetings. The proposed resolution would also confirm that the Board of Review continues to authorize the Board of Review and any and all committees or subcommittees of the Board of Review now existing or hereafter established to use video conferencing to conduct meetings where each member wishing to attend and participate in such meeting is physically present at such meeting at a location where the public can attend. Notice of the public hearing for this proposed resolution and written procedures was posted on the Department of State's website on October 20th, 2022. All persons wishing to present comments at today's hearing should sign the registration sheet or message the host of the WebEx. Speakers will be called in the order in which they appear on the registration sheet and or where received via message in WebEx. Dan, do we have a registration sheet out?
No, we do not. If anybody wishes to comment, though, we can get a registration sheet for you.
Okay, thank you. All persons wishing to present comments will be asked to complete and sign a notice of appearance.
Can I please have Dan's first and last name?
Yes, my first name is Dan, last name is Farley, Farrelly. I'm actually up on the screen.
Thank you.
And I work for the Department of State.
Got it.
So a video hearing of this recording is currently taking place. Anyone wishing to speak when called, please introduce yourself, identify your affiliation or any group that you represent. Please speak slowly and clearly. If you have written comments of your remarks, please submit a copy to Mr. Fairley. Does anyone in the audience or anyone who's logged in remotely wish to comment on this public hearing? Let the record reflect that we've received no response. It is now approximately 9:20 a.m. As no one has appeared to comment on the proposed resolution, I declare this portion of the hearing closed. So I need someone from the board to make a motion to adopt resolution number 1 of 2022, authorizing the use of video conferencing and written procedures governing member and public attendance pursuant to section 103-A of the Public Officers Law, as presented by me this morning. Do I hear a motion?
This is Michelle Trott, and I motion.
Do I have a second?
This is Mark Kavanaugh, and I second.
Mr. Papich,
I agree.
you need to vote verbally on the record.
Affirmably. Rick Papich votes firmly.
Mr. Kavanaugh,
Affirmative.
Ms. Trott,
Affirmative.
I will vote aye. So the record should reflect a vote of 4-0 on resolution number 1 of 2022.
He's doing it next week, you know.
We good? Okay. The first hearing this morning relative to a petition seeking relief from the Uniform Code is petition number 2022-0511. The petitioner is the University of Rochester Medical Center.
My name is Mark Kavanaugh, and I have to recuse myself from this hearing.
So the record should reflect that Mr. Kavanaugh has recused himself from this hearing, and Jared Behringer is joining us remotely from Albany to serve the role as the fire official in this matter. This petition pertains to the construction of a new building on the University of Rochester Medical Center campus containing occupancy groups B, business, I2, institutional, and S2, low-hazard storage. The building is of type 1A construction, 9 stories in height, 660,533 square feet in gross floor area, and is located at 601 Elmwood Avenue in the city of Rochester, County of Monroe, State of New York. Petitioner is seeking relief from 19 NYCRR Part 1225 Fire Code of New York State, Appendix D, Section 103.4, which states that dead-end fire apparatus access roads in excess of 150 feet shall be provided with width and turnaround provisions in accordance with Fire Code Appendix D, Section 103.4. The petitioner is seeking relief from the requirements for a dead-end fire apparatus access road being provided with the required turnaround. And who is here representing the University of Rochester today?
I am. My name is Rob Goss. That's G as in girl, O-S-S.
Please state your address for the record.
I am, it's 833 Chestnut Street, Suite 1400, Philadelphia, PA 19107.
You may proceed.
Okay. So the existing condition that we have there exists right now with this dead-end condition. What we are doing is demolishing the existing storage and business occupancy on the east side and constructing a new I-2 and storage occupancy in that location. We are improving that by fully sprinkling the new building with a type 1A construction. The existing structure to the west is the business occupancy, which is not fully sprinklered at this time. We are also removing some bollards to widen the access down the middle drive. And we are infilling a window well on the west side at the existing medical school building to also provide ease of access to Middle Drive for a fire truck. In our petition, we have shown how a fire truck would access the Middle Drive and back up out of Middle Drive.
Now, the staff analysis that was done by the regional engineer suggests that your petition intended to leave those bollards in place. Do you wish to amend that statement to include removal of the bollards that neck down the width of the space in the fire apparatus access road?
Right, we are removing existing bollards. There are some new bollards going in, but those are tighter to the building.
Give us one minute here, please. So, So it looks like on the site plan exhibit 2 that a half a dozen or so bollards towards the southern end of the alley are being removed, but the bollards at the northern end of the alley would remain. Is that correct?
Those will be new bollards for the new construction. The existing ones are all being removed.
It's Daniel Farrelly that was just talking before Goss. Because there's a group of you and I can't see who's like talking. So if Daniel was talking, can you just state I'm talking? Because I need this for the record. I can't see who's talking from the table there.
It was Robert Goss that was speaking.
Yeah, prior to that, was that you that was talking? And are you Daniel Farrelly?
I am, but I was not speaking.
Okay, so was
I
it,
think, Nicole, Rick Papage, who's the
Okay.
board member who's sitting to my extreme left,
okay, thank you.
made a comment, and Michelle Trott, who's sitting next to me on my left, also made a comment.
Okay, thank you. It's just I can't see who's speaking from the table from my screen, so if everyone can just state their name prior, that would be helpful for the transcript.
You got it.
Thank you.
Rick Papage, just questioning the bollards that are being removed. What was their intent and why are they there in the first place?
The existing building is, I think it was there to protect doors and the existing doors to that existing building being demolished and some other, equipment along the drive.
Okay. Can you see me, Nicole? Do you need me to introduce myself every time I speak?
Are you What's your name? Just hold your hand up and state your
Jim
name.
Burton.
You're Jim Burton. Okay, thank you. No, you don't have to now, but
Okay.
I just couldn't see prior.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, Mr. Goss, your petition suggests that you believe you might qualify for relief on the basis of unreasonable economic burden. But it appears that your petition package did not contain any financial information or any justification statement that would support an economic burden. Do you have anything that you'd like to present to the board today?
No, I do not have any backup information for that.
Okay. Your petition also checked the box for compliance would not achieve the intended objective of the code. I didn't see anything in the package that would support that grounds for relief. Would you care to comment on why you think having a code-compliant fire apparatus access road with a turnaround would not achieve the intended objective of the code?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
Yeah. Would you like to see a copy of the petition to refamiliarize yourself with the boxes that were checked? Would that be helpful?
Yes.
Okay. Let the record show that we've presented Mr. Goss with a copy of the petition that was filed. That checks off 3 of the boxes for legal grounds for relief.
So I imagine this question is relative to item number 5.
It's the checked box that suggests that strict compliance with the code would not achieve the intended objective.
Item number 6. Or item number 5. Correct. So there is an existing condition there at this time, which we are improving. And so what we are doing is, if we do nothing, there's 2 unsprinklered buildings side by side. So we are improving with an improved structure in this case. And so we're not making the condition worse. We are actually, what we're stating there, that we are improving the condition that exists at this time.
Okay, so that might be justification for grounds in light of alternatives, but I'm not hearing anything that supports your position that compliance would not achieve the intended objective of the code. We can just uncheck that box if you prefer, or if you have some documentation or an opinion that would support that ground, we'll be happy to consider it.
Okay, yeah, I do not have anything that would support that.
Okay, fair enough. I'm going to need my copy of the petition back. Thank you. So the box for in light of alternatives, the board typically looks at that as trading off some life and or fire safety features that you're offering that are in excess of the minimum requirements of the code that could be considered in lieu of compliance with the provision that you're seeking relief from. So just for the record, The building that you're building is required to be sprinklered, so that's not really an alternative. That's just a compliance item. So, and there was another item in your narrative with respect to signage. Signage is really required at the discretion of the fire code official, and we're going to hear from the fire department here in a little bit. Just asking for the record if you have any other alternatives to offer the board that would be exceeding the minimum requirements of the code that the board might consider in lieu of compliance with the provision you're seeking relief from.
We do not.
Okay, thank you. So there is another option for meeting one of the grounds for relief that the board might wish to consider, and that's in light of the fact that compliance would be physically or legally impracticable. So the board is aware of the fact that this high-rise tower has been contemplated by the university for many years, and that several options for siting the tower on the grounds of the hospital complex have been considered. So, you know, what I'm looking for is to get something on the record that would suggest that you've exhausted all other locations where a compliant fire apparatus access road might have been provided with a turnaround suitable for use by the fire department.
Yeah, so we did planning studies, and the driver for this project is the expansion of the emergency department, which is a great need for the community in terms of the volumes that they are currently experiencing at this time, and to increase the bed count, which is also is really a need for this community. So the design is taking that into consideration to alleviate the overcrowding that they have in the emergency department, and the location is in the existing emergency department location. It's an expansion of that. That is the purpose of this project. By removing the buildings that are being removed, make way for this expansion of this vital clinical need.
Were there any other locations on the hospital complex considered that would not need relief?
Not to my knowledge.
Sorry. As Michelle Trot, who exits into Middle Drive from the buildings? Are they patients, staff, or those fire exits that exit into that drive?
There, that drive where it is, where the fire truck would go down, is not for vehicle access. The only access to that, what they call Lot 6, where they have the loading dock, where you see those docks, that is staff only. That is for the operation of the facility.
There's no fire stair exit into Middle Drive.
There is a fire stair exit from both buildings into Middle Drive.
To your knowledge, has the city fire department tested backing into or out of the alley with a fire apparatus or a smaller emergency response vehicle?
I do not know if they have tested the current condition. I would have to defer to the fire department.
Is sufficient lighting being proposed to illuminate the alley in the event that that becomes a discharge location for patients or staff?
Yes, there is exterior lighting positioned regularly along the new building, which will illuminate that.
Are the stair towers in the new building going to be smoke-proof and provided with Class 1 standpipes and extending all the way to the roof surfaces?
Yes, they will.
Is a secondary water supply being provided for the fire protection systems?
There is a redundant loop for the fire protection system that is being planned for this building.
So by redundant, you mean two independent fire service mains such that impairment of one would not affect the other?
My understanding is that I am aware of the main fire feed from Elmwood Drive. I would have to take a look at I would have to take a look at the plans. I believe there's a secondary feed coming from the south side from Crittenden through the existing building.
Is the fire command center going to be located with access to the alley?
The fire command center that we are adding is accessible from Elmwood Drive on the north face of the new building.
Okay, do you have anything else to share with the board at this time?
I think I would just back up to when we were planning other locations. I do recall prior to when I was on the project, but I had heard they had looked at locating the building over Jackson Drive, which is to the east of the emergency department, and spanning over that. And that was discounted, but I'm not clear on the reasons why they did that. It was economic and impeding access to the main entrance of the hospital, the public entrance.
And for the record, the narrative that you labeled as Exhibit 1 that isn't signed and is not contained on any letterhead, it's our understanding that you prepared that document? Is that correct?
Yeah, we prepared that in conjunction with SWBR, our associate architect.
We being?
Me and Michael Brown from SWBR.
Okay. Does anybody else wish to testify on this matter?
Yes, this is Michael Brown. From SWBR, I would like to make one statement.
Excuse me, could you list your address, please, for the record?
Yeah, 387 East Main Street, Rochester, New York.
You may proceed.
I wanted to circle back to the unreasonable economic burden, specifically to Fire Code Chapter 11, that retroactively requires sprinklering hospital buildings. The adjacent building, the School of Dentistry to the west side of Middle Drive, being part of the hospital, in theory, it seems that over time that would need to become fully sprinklered. In that case, would increase the fire, the distance to 300 feet. It used to be 300 feet in the previous version of the building code. In the latest version, the 2020 New York State Building Code, it's been amended to say, rather than 150 feet, it's been amended to say increased by the authority having jurisdiction. So from that perspective, the economic burden would be retroactively sprinklering the adjacent building on the west side of Middle Drive that's fully occupied, and I would say that would be the economic burden.
So just further, thank you, Mike. But just for the record, the board can't really consider granting relief on the basis of economic hardship unless financial information was presented that we could review. Otherwise, it's just hearsay. And also note for the record that the provision in the fire code that grants discretion to extending the distance to the fire code official is only granted where alternatives are provided. So,
such as a fully sprinklered building is a fully sprinklered building is one of the provisions.
yeah. So
Correct.
because we're not here to review plans for the entire structure, we can't really comment on that. So, okay, would anybody else like to testify in this matter?
Good morning. Arthur Paul Kuzowitz, KU, C as in Charlie, EWI, C as in Charlie, Z as in Zebra. Captain Fire Safety, City of Rochester Fire Department. I'd just like to state the City of Rochester Fire Marshal's Office does not oppose.
And can you confirm whether it's the city's fire department's understanding that there are two completely independent water sources for this high-rise building?
I cannot confirm that.
Is there two independent fire mains serving this area off of Elmwood Avenue?
I believe there are.
Rick Papich. Sir, can you, have you reviewed the diagrams that show the fire truck backing operations?
Yes, they have been reviewed.
And is that something that you believe your vehicles and your drivers would be able to?
Yes, currently as the road as it sits right now, we have no issues with that. So we don't see any issues with the new proposal.
So is that part of your response plan that you would actually use in an emergency, that alley?
That's not our normal response plan, but if needed, we would be able to use it.
Are you aware of any test runs that have been done?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so you've backed in a Quint?
I have not backed into Quint, but I know the company that serves that area has. They've tried it.
Okay.
And they've been able to.
Okay, so you have any concern at all if you needed to get a ladder truck in there and you've got outriggers out, so now we've got a footprint of 16 feet plus or minus in an area that necks down to 24 feet. Are you at all concerned about any exit discharge from either side of that alley or taking away those remote emergency exits from the facility?
I'm not.
is Michelle Trot again. Is the loading dock portion, is that part of what's being demoling, or is that still staying along this alley?
Loading dock portion is new to this. Currently, the loading dock faces on Elmwood, and it is being located in what is Lot 6.
Nicole, did you catch that? Was Rob talking again?
I did. Thank you.
Is there anyone else in the audience or anyone else logged in remotely that wishes to speak on this matter? Please state your name and address for the record.
Okay, my name is Tom Parr, Parr, and it's the same as Rob's, 833 Chestnut Street, Suite 1400, Philadelphia, 19107.
Please proceed.
Okay. My comment is about the redundant water. You know, again, there's a loop system going from Crittenden and Elmwood that serves the entire campus. There's multiple feeds into that loop system, and we do have redundant services to the building.
But they're all essentially coming from the same trunk line.
No, they are coming from two different locations, so they can reroute in any necessity to go through the other buildings, and that's kind of a loop system. The way a loop system is set up is if one part of it is taken down, there's other ways that it comes into that building. So the intention is two service lines into the new building.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, at this time, the board is going to go into deliberation. Nicole, you can sign off for now.
Okay, thank you.
Pause it, pause it.
I don't think existing buildings currently served. Number 6, the existing buildings currently served by the fire apparatus access road are known as the School of Medicine and Dentistry, Building 104, and the hospital, Building 105, both of which are not fully protected by fire sprinkler systems. Number 7, the 2020 Fire Code of New York State, Appendix D, Section 103.4, requires any fire apparatus access road more than 150 feet to be provided with a turnaround. Number 8, the fire code official from the City of Rochester Fire Department testified in this matter and is in support of the board granting the requested variance. Any other findings? Jared?
No, not at this time.
Therefore, strict compliance with the code would entail practical difficulties, unnecessary hardship, or would otherwise be unwarranted because compliance with the code would inhibit achievement of some other important public policy and would be physically or legally impracticable due to existing conditions on site that prohibit the installation of a code-compliant turnaround. Wherefore, it is determined that the application for a variance from 19 NYCRR Part 1225, Section 103.4 of Appendix D, be and is hereby granted with the following conditions. Condition number 1, that no parking signs shall be placed along the fire apparatus access road and within the area necessary for turning maneuvers as determined by the fire code official from the City of Rochester Fire Department. Number 2, that the pavement shall be cross-hatched to prohibit parking in Middle Drive as shown on Exhibit 3 and as approved by the fire code official from the City of Rochester Fire Department. And number 3, that the proposed loading dock on the north end of the fire apparatus access road be reduced to accommodate only a box van in size, and that the retaining wall proposed on the site plan be removed. Any other conditions?
No, none.
Jared?
No.
So do I hear a motion to approve? Second?
I second.
Okay. Ms. Trott?
Aye.
Mr. Behringer?
Aye.
Mr. Pappage?
Aye.
I will vote aye, so the record should reflect a vote of 4-0 with Mr. Kavanaugh recusing himself. It should be noted that this decision is limited to the specific building and application before it is contained within the petition and should not be interpreted to give implied approvals of any general plans or specifications presented in support of this application. And with that, we'll declare this hearing closed.
You can stop recording.
Can I just have Jared's last name for the record?
It's Behringer, Barringer.
Thank you.
Do you want that or you want me to toss it?
I got enough in my office.
Yeah, exactly. I don't blame you.
Save this for next week.
Jared,
Yeah,
Barbara,
we
we're going to
already
sign
did.
off now, okay?
All right, take
We're
care,
all set.
guys.
Thank you.
Have a good day,
Bye.
everybody.
You too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
too.
I just hit.
Yeah, just X out of it. And then just end it. Leave the meeting, we'll end it, whatever.
Okay.